Hello everyone. Today is February 12th, 2026. I've decided to share with you my experience with Esther fast. So 72-hour dry fast, no food and no drinks. Let me just give you a brief introduction. Before I started my Esther fast, I was already fasting a dry fast for some time, 4 months to be precise. And so that was a dry fast from dawn to sunset. So during the summer months, it's really like 17, 18 hours per day, and during the winter period, it's usually like from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., like right now, for example. In the very beginning, I would like to um, mention a disclaimer because really you should advise yourself with a medical advisor if you have any kind of health issues. It's very challenging to do this. You can experience electrolytes disbalance, kidney strain, dizziness, even you can faint. Well, I did it in the way that I just obeyed God because I was instructed by God to do it. It's not that I'm recommending you to do it, and I would strongly advise to do it only when you're called by God, because really I strongly believe that, at least in my case, I couldn't do it without God, definitely. The third day was the most challenging, so I couldn't do it without God, that's for sure. And that's relying on God is the only thing that can push you through it. So in my case, I didn't advise myself with a medical advisor. I didn't really know what my medical condition is since I was fasting for months. The dry fast from dawn to sunset. But I didn't have any health issues. I felt good. And I knew that it was a challenge, but of course, I obeyed God. So I received an instruction from God or invitation for this 3-day fast, Esther fast. But I wasn't sure if it was for me. Then a day or two passed and I received another invitation, or it was basically confirmation of the first one. And then on the first day of my Esther fast, I asked again for confirmation, and I got a sign which said, like, it was a sign on the road which said, it was pretty big, and it said fast 30. Like exactly in the moment when I asked, oh God, please confirm to me, am I really like supposed to do this? Because I know it's a big deal. It involves health risk as well, and I would just wanted to do it with God, not on my own. And instantly I saw this sign on the road, like a really big billboard, which said fast $30, like, but fast. So on the first day of my Esther fast, I didn't feel really any like hunger or thirst. Even if I did, it was just a little bit, and I was busy. So the moment when I realized that I should be fasting was like the next day after my regular fast. So I was fasting, let's say, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. I break my fast and I'm eating, and I was thinking, like, because those instructions to fast, Esther fast, came on that day, but I wanted to wait for confirmation. So I was still eating, And I was just guessing that the last time when I ate was 2 a.m. because, or drank something like water, because on that night I couldn't sleep. So the next day I got another confirmation that uh, I should fast, Esther fast, and I asked my God if I should just continue Esther fast on my dry fast, because I already started fasting my dry fast, so no water, no food, no drinks, um, on my first day of Esther fast. But the last time I ate was 2 a.m. So I just, basically started fasting from that 2 a.m. period until 2 a.m. 3 days later. So while I was fasting my 3-day Esther fast, I was traveling, and so I was pretty busy, like busy driving. I was driving. And I went through 3 different states during my Esther fast. And I was using Airbnb accommodation. So on the first day of my Esther fast, while driving, I saw that sign, like a confirmation fast, like big billboard said fast. And then I suddenly got inspired to prophesy, because sometime before that, not long time before this Esther fast, um, it was revealed to me that I can prophesy, that I have a gift of prophecy, and that I should use it. So while driving, I was recording a video and prophesying. And as I remember in that video, since I was driving through Arizona, the prophecy was about that area, and it was revealed to me that that area is dangerous, and that there are a lot of dry bones over there, and like a lot of suffering happened in that area. So since I didn't want to travel during the night, I decided to spend the night somewhere like in between 2 states, in between my final destination. And I have managed to book an accommodation which looked pretty decent on the photos, and it was like the location was good concerning like how far it was from the first point to the next point of my destination, next destination. However, when I arrived to that accommodation, it was completely different, and completely different vibe from what I was expecting. First, it was in kind of remote, a little bit remote area, like a remote street off the highway, and this place was like really not even a town, it was some kind of place. And the moment I entered the house, it felt really strange. I had feeling like I have entered into another era. Like I felt I am in Civil War era, like Civil War in US era. The light, it was dark, so the light in the living room was dimmed, and my room was upstairs, so I needed to climb on the stairs in the middle of that living room, and the stairs were full of some kind of family photos and different kind of photos, which was pretty strange to find that on stairs. So it felt like I was alone in the house, but I wasn't sure about that. However, once I climbed to my room upstairs, And I entered the room. Of course, I already knew that that's not what I was expecting just by entering the house itself. So the room was really not like it was described on the photos, and it was cold. There was a small heater, but it looked like it wasn't really working. There was just like one towel on the bed, and something like like a blanket, but it looked more like a towel, another towel, just a little bit longer. So I told myself, I have my own blanket. My God, this looks so spooky. Um, I went to the bathroom. I soon realized I will just wash my hands in this bathroom, and that's it. Nothing else I will do in this bathroom. Uh, so, and there was complete silence. There's nobody in the house. I soon figured out there was nobody. It's just silence. I'm alone in this spooky house. Um, and it was like 9 p.m. So what can I do? I mean, I needed to have rest because I intended to drive further the next morning. But at the same time, I didn't feel like I can really sleep or have any rest in this place. So I thought, okay, I can survive somehow the night. Um, and the accommodation was not cheap. It was like the price that I would pay in a big city like LA or Sacramento or anywhere else. So I was at least expecting, something really decent and not spooky. Yeah, so I said I will spend the evening praying anyway. I will survive somehow. I thought I can disregard this, spooky feeling, negative vibe, dark energy. But then at 10 p.m., around 10 p.m., I realized, why should I pay to suffer? Like I paid for this accommodation and I'm supposed to suffer in it? No, I said, I don't care about the refund, if they will refund me or not. I will just start searching for another accommodation. Although it was really tricky, it was already like 10 p.m. Is anybody going to respond to my inquiry, or is it going to be far away? I'm a female traveling alone, all these things, but I was willing to risk all of it. So I managed to find another accommodation, thanks God. I left that house, that spooky house. As soon as I went outside, I could feel a strong wind blowing in my hair. It was like a really strange place. Anyways, it took me like 10-15 minutes to reach another place, and the vibe was completely different. It was more modern. There was a safe parking as well. It was more, the parking was lit, there was light, both inside of the house and outside of the house. And I wasn't alone, which was really great. There were other guests there. My God, such a relief. Also, as soon as I entered this house, I've noticed, like, I believe those were 3 crosses, like really big, huge crosses on the wall in the living room of that house on the ground floor. So I settled in that room. It was completely different. There was a more positive vibe. It was clean. It had TV. The bathroom was decent as well. Everything was fine. I saw another lady in the other room. Great. And I have received a refund for that accommodation. So I requested refund and I received the refund. So the next day I continued my journey. So the second day of my Esther fast, I ended up being in Phoenix, Arizona. So there I booked an accommodation with Airbnb again, which was pretty decent. It looked great on photos and it was great when I arrived as well. Everything was as described. However, and at that point, I already felt like extremely tired. So second day of fasting. Uh, so 24 hours of fasting. And on top of it, I was already fasting for months, the dry fast. And on top of it, I was traveling. And all these things were happening, like moving around and driving like constantly for 5-6 hours without a break or something like that. So when I arrived at that place, it was probably 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. Oh, I felt so exhausted. I said, oh my God, I don't know how will I take a shower, but I do need to take a shower, and I will just lay down and I will have rest. I didn't even feel any hunger. I didn't feel any thirst. I just wanted to have a rest. I was so desperate for rest. Anyway, so I managed to take a shower. I even managed to wash my clothes somehow. So it was already like 7:30 or 8 p.m. So I was finally in a bed. And I was expecting a really nice, peaceful night. However, sometimes around 8:30 or around 9 before that, I've noticed that the AC in that room was constantly running, like without stopping, which was not the case when I just arrived. Like it was running and then it stopped, but now it was like constantly running and it had some kind of smell. Oh my God, I said, what's going on? I don't want to move anywhere. I am so tired. I just want to, fall asleep and have some deep rest. However, the smell was constant and it was some kind of almost like electrical burning smell or gas leaking smell coming from an AC, I guess. And the AC unit was locked. It was in a hallway, but it was locked, so I didn't have any access to it to turn it off. So I said, and initially I was thinking, what will happen? I don't think I will die, although I might die. Should I risk or not? Well, even if I was so tired, I decided to contact the host and the Airbnb support. And what Airbnb support basically advised me to do, I contacted them after 10 p.m., I believe. So once I explained the situation, they advised me to leave the property, so to basically evacuate from this property. And they told me that if I can book a hotel, they can reimburse me for this hotel. Okay, so this whole process took me like another 2 or 3 hours, the calling the hotel and trying to find the book a place and everything. So I remember that at 12 a.m. I was at midnight. I was basically making a decision: should I leave or should I stay? I even tried to open the window to, get some air in the room, but it was difficult to open the window. Even when I managed to do that, there was a net, so not so much air was coming in. So it was definitely health hazard and maybe potentially even, life and death threatening situation. So an hour after midnight, I managed to book a hotel, um, which costed, by the way, $250, and the Airbnb reimbursed it. They said in this kind of situation they reimburse up to $350. So I said, okay, let me get myself a good hotel. Anyways, so I ended up leaving that place at 2 a.m. Can you imagine? Again, alone at 2 a.m. First time in Phoenix. Never mind. I just went there at 2:15. I checked in the hotel, and you can only imagine how I felt. Like, yes. So the first thing that I noticed once I entered the room was what was written on my hotel card. It was written 111. And that's the repeated number that I kept seeing all this time during my wilderness season. That's a confirmation from God. So it was 2 a.m., like a little bit beyond 2 a.m. So that was like 24 hours of my Esther fast. And I saw this sign. It was confirmation from God, 1:11. It was January 11th. Even though I was extremely tired, I cannot even explain how extremely tired I was. And I already started like feeling thirsty, mainly thirsty. Of course, a little bit of hunger as well. Well, I started feeling hungry, but thirst was like on the first place. So I was like beyond that, I was exhausted. That was like priority, to get some sleep, to get some rest. And I couldn't fall asleep until 4:30. The bed was so cold, and anyways. So I managed to sleep for probably like 4 hours, 5 hours, let's say 5 hours, or around 5 hours. And then I woke up. It was my third day of my Esther fast. And this was the most difficult period for me. I woke up, I felt extremely tired, like weak. My whole body was weak physically. And I mean, well, yes, in the last 2 days I was traveling and driving. That's okay, but all these things were happening along the way as well. So it was a kind of emotional stress as well. So I was, to be honest, a little bit worried about myself, about my physical health, and also I felt that, some kind of heaviness on my shoulders. So I didn't like the way I felt. I was praying to God immediately, even by my thoughts initially, and then I was walking slowly. I was dressing slowly. I even felt some kind of dizziness. But in any case, I've started praying. So I couldn't even speak. I was speaking so slowly, like really with a huge effort. Also, I felt something like my heart was pounding, or something like that. And at the same time, I felt extreme dryness of my mouth, like so dry that I could not speak. But I forced myself to pray in tongues, to pray out loud. It wasn't really loud, but it was really really soft whispering prayer, because I could barely talk. But I managed to talk, and I managed to pray for 15 minutes. So in my prayer, I was mainly asking my God to give me strength and endurance. So it was already 11 a.m. I woke up at 10 a.m. So at that point, it was 11 a.m. I slowly dressed up. I prayed for 15 minutes. And I was asking my God to help me endure, to complete this Esther fast, to give me strength, specifically to give me strength and endurance. And so 2 hours after I woke up, so at 12 a.m., I felt that I regained the strength. Like, it was not like usual strength, but it was good enough to, allow me to complete my Esther fast. I was even wondering, like, okay, now I need to leave the hotel. I need to drive now. I was wondering, because I felt like a little bit dizzy as well, and really in slow motion, doing everything in slow motion, and with this extreme dryness of my mouth, I was wondering if I could, like, am I capable of driving? Luckily, nothing happened. So I drove right away to my next accommodation, and honestly, I was thinking, what's the next thing that will happen? So these were my 2 days of Esther fast and 2 nights of Esther fast, and now I was in the 3rd day of Esther fast, and I still needed to go through the night and to break my fast at 2 a.m. So the next day. So at that point, I already, like, as soon as I woke up, I started counting the hours. How many hours were left for me to fast? Honestly, I was concerned about my health, but I just relied on God, and I surrendered to God completely. I have surrendered all my life to God anyway, and I would never do it on my own without being instructed by God. And I knew that my life is in God's hands and that I can only do it with God, and God has returned this strength to me. So I knew that I needed to have some kind of special diet after breaking the fast, and I checked like what I could do, and by the way, I bought some things. So I came to this new accommodation. Everything looked nice, and the room had attached bathroom with it, which was great. However, soon after up and arriving, like already at like 4 or 5 p.m., I've heard a lady in the room next to mine speaking loudly over the phone. Said, I mean, everything else looked fine and it was peaceful and quiet except of this lady. And I said, okay, I just hope that she won't be this loud in the evening, like during the night. I really, I was extremely exhausted. I needed peace, and I was really preparing this kind of small menu and figuring out like what I can drink or eat after I break my fast, because I've realized after the research I've done that it is extremely important to pay attention on what to eat, especially in the first 24 hours, or eat or drink, and how to do it after the Esther fast. However, the night came and I was really counting hours. When will I break my fast? The lady was still on the phone. She was like constantly on the phone, and she was basically arguing with somebody and demanding for her money for them to return the money to her. So this was definitely about finances. All 3 nights were about like first refund and reimbursement, and then it was like this lady who spent the night and day on the phone asking for her money from somebody. So yeah, I mean, it has been revealed to me even before this that my finances have been attacked, and this really lasted for like at least 20-30 years, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, so I reported this noise since it didn't stop, not even at 11 p.m. And of course I couldn't have any peace. And I reported it to the host and to the Airbnb, and even recorded the video of this noise. The host, it looks like I had a feeling that this lady was asking for the money from this host for some reason. But anyways, so the host decided to call the police. The police came, and then she said, oh, I believe if I was a white woman, you wouldn't even come. You just came because I'm a black lady. And then the police officer just left. And then she continued to very loudly to quarrel with the host, who was also African American, but he was very polite, and he was very calm, but she was like screaming at him for some reason, and she kept demanding her money. So there's a hidden message behind all of this, but I don't think I figured it out, except that it's about the money, and it's about my money. I would really appreciate if you would comment below this video what you think, what God wanted to show me through these 3 events during my 3 days and 3 nights of Esther fast. Yeah, I would really love to hear your opinion. So at approximately 1 a.m. I felt a strong urge to use the bathroom, which I believe was a cleansing. Probably it was both physical and spiritual cleansing as well, because in the previous period it was revealed to me that I was poisoned, probably by my ex, as I understood, twice. And indeed that happened, I believe, when we were on vacation, and when I almost fainted out. And I'm very healthy person. Something like that never happens to me. I don't even have a headache, let alone anything else. So I believe that was definitely some kind of cleansing. A lot of mucus or mucus-like matter went out. So yeah, cleansing both spiritually and physically. Now I will share with you what I ate. So the instruction said that in the first hour I could only drink, like as far as I remember, something like 200 milliliters of water, like 1 glass of water, or if it's more than that, then it's definitely something like 2 glasses, not more than that, in 1 hour. But to drink it sip by sip. Can you imagine? After 3 days of dry fast, no water at all, I was so thirsty and I was hungry. At that point I was very hungry as well, but there was no way to eat food. That wasn't an instruction. Like in the menu, it would be really fatal to eat anything in the very beginning, because stomach is so sensitive in the very beginning. So I was drinking water and coconut water for the first hour, like sip by sip, and I could feel that my stomach was sensitive. And then I had another turn of using the bathroom, and a lot of mucus-like matter went out again. And then I slowly started introducing cucumber, blueberries, watermelon. What else? Yeah, those main things. So no bread at all. This is actually like kind of dangerous to use, or any other food than really the one which contains a lot of liquid, like watermelon or cucumber. As far as I remember, tomato could be used as well, but ripe tomato, and ripe mango as well. So I remember pear. I could use pear as well. I had some pear, but eventually I just, I could just eat like really very tiny small bites, because that was the recommendation, although I was very hungry and I was very thirsty. And on top of that, I just continued my regular fast, so which gave me a time frame of of like a time window of 4 hours only, because I broke my fast at 2 a.m. and I was supposed to start another regular fast at 6 a.m. So I just had this 4 hours time frame. And since I was very hungry, I think I ate a little bit more of blueberries or of this fruit than it was recommended, because what was recommended was really very, very, very low amount. And eventually I ate some of the mango as well, and I believe that mango wasn't ripe enough, and then I had stomach cramps, and basically I had some pain in the stomach as well. So at that point it was already like 4 a.m. Like I was still hungry, and I was kind of thirsty as well still, but now the priority for me was really not to feel the pain, and just to calm down. So I kind of put a blanket on me, and I squirreled in the bed, and I just waited for this pain to pass, which indeed happened like after 15 minutes. And I also prayed to God, of course, that everything is fine. Then I noticed like, you know, my physical appearance was affected as well. Like I was pale, and my skin was dry, and I had dark circles under my eyes, and also, and the next day I've noticed that one of my, I believe, right side of my face, around the mouth, was a little bit like, it looked like, at least it looked like to me, that it was a little bit distorted. So I was a little bit afraid that I had some kind of stroke or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I just noticed like changes in the physical appearance, but it's not that I noticed anything else except of that third day, when like I was really, my motoric capabilities were really slow. I couldn't, like I could just move slowly until God returned my strength to me. So I believe maybe it was really even good, even though it was difficult for me to, you know, have this window of 4 hours to eat or drink, and then to fast again, because in that way I'm just guessing my stomach had some time to adapt to a new change, like to adapt that, you know, it consumed something, at least some fruits and vegetables. So as far as I remember, the next day was like the day or the night of my kind of proper meal. Still, I didn't eat anything like meat. I usually don't eat meat anyways. So nothing heavy. It was still very light food with like vegetables and fruits, and I introduced maybe a little bit of bread, something like that. I was still drinking water, and water with electrolytes, and coconut water. Well, by the day 3, post fast, post Esther fast, as far as I remember, everything was already fine. Like I could almost drink and eat as I would normally do, but I was still very careful. So basically, as far as I remember, you should be careful even up to 7 days after you break your Esther fast. But definitely I would say the most dangerous period is the first 24 hours after you break the fast. You should be extra careful about what you eat and drink. So I felt it inconvenient to share this, but still I want to share this with you. So about the stool that I had, it was mainly a mucus-like, and like with some slippery thing, and I took a photo of it because I thought if I ever have any medical condition after this fast, I could show it to the medical doctor, and it might help them, you know, determine, like, because usually they ask like what was your stool like, or you know, urine or things like that. So but later on when I came back to that photo, I don't know if I'm imagining, but I could see like two demonic faces in it. So I'm just thinking that I might have been delivered from some demonic creatures, or maybe that was something that I ate, that the enemy gave me to eat. But anyways, it was definitely cleansing, both physical and spiritual. I have created this YouTube channel as a testimony of my walk with God. And I have created videos in the past 8 months. This channel has more than 180 videos. And one of the videos is my testimony of what was happening during this 3-day Esther fast. I will link the video below, in the comment below, or somewhere in the description. God said that I am a pioneer, that many others will go through the wilderness and through similar experiences, and that my testimony and sharing my experience can help them. So I pray to God that any video that I have created will help and reach those who need it. May it encourage them in their journey, in their walk with God, in their wilderness season. May God help them come out of the wilderness season sooner than I did. May my testimony and my walk with God encourage them and help them, and reveal to them what they should be doing in the moment that they need guidance and revelation from God. May God help you, and may God bless you. During my wilderness season and this 8-month fasting period, in the very beginning, God has instructed me to journal everything and to write a book about it. And I did. So my book is basically finished. It just lacks the final miracle from God. So it's still work in progress. It has almost 700 pages. But before I release it, I have created a short kind of guidebook, ebook, which consists of 22 pages, and I have published it on Beacons AI. I will link it in the description below. It might be helpful to those who are just entering wilderness season, and also it includes the part related to the 3-day Esther fast. May God bless the righteous people, those who will inherit the wealth in these end times, those who will be the winners in the wealth transfer, the righteous ones, the ones who God chooses for the wealth transfer and for this final battle against evil. Victory is ours because God fights our battles.